Illinois lawmaker wants to ban Grand Theft Auto, claiming it's responsible for increased carjackings. This completely reminds me of all of the Karens out there, all of the petrified parents out there that continue to want to place the responsibility of their children doing bad things on video games. I'm sorry, but yes, people can make bad decisions when it comes to what they do with video games, and people can become way too addicted to video games, and that can play an effect on how people act in the real world. But at the end of the day, people are still responsible for their own actions that they make. And this Illinois lawmaker is basically just turning into one giant Karen by now wanting to ban Grand Theft Auto, which is just insane on so many levels. Absolutely insane. And we're going to be looking at some details here that point to what could actually be responsible for the increased carjackings that are currently taking place. So let's go ahead and get into this and see what this is all about. Chicago, Illinois has seen a spike in carjackings in 2021, even though carjackings in 2020 increased more than 135% compared to 2019. Now, right there, right off the bat, in that statement right there, we can pick out some of the stuff that is going on here. So, even though carjackings in 2020 increased more than 135% compared to 2019, what happened in 2020? Oh, well, we had a virus, right, that basically rampaged throughout the entire world. We also had the government that completely shut down people's businesses, told people to stay home, forced people out of their jobs, and basically treated society as nothing more than a bunch of germy scumbags. And that is absolutely horrible, and of course that is going to have an effect on how people deal with things like carjackings. Also in 2020, we had a lot of people attack the police. We had a lot of people that were calling for defunding of the police. We had a lot of people that were treating police like very, very bad people, and it completely crushed the morale of the police force across the country. That, of course, can also have a play on the increase of carjackings that took place. Both of those things combined, with the government forcing people to stay home, stay out of their work, stop going to work, close down your businesses, whatever else, and also defund the police. Police are very bad. Those things combined, of course, are going to increase the carjackings in 2020. Not Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto, and I don't know if the person that is writing this, Illinois lawmaker, I don't know if he realizes this or not, but Grand Theft Auto has been around for quite some time. This is absolutely absurd on so many levels, and just goes to show how absolutely ridiculous our government is, how absolutely ridiculous our entire system is, that these people are so stuffy and so out of touch with reality that they're just gonna randomly blame the increase of carjackings in 2020 on Grand Theft Auto, a game that has been out for years now at this point, instead of looking at what could actually be the actual problems of this. And of course, it can't be the government's fault that the increase of carjackings took place, right? Like, it can't be the government's fault. The government never does anything wrong whatsoever. They are our supreme leaders, and we must honor them. We must worship them. Bullshit. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into this and see what this is about. So, to combat the spike, an Illinois lawmaker has proposed banning Grand Theft Auto, a video game that hasn't had a new entry in almost a decade. Exactly. By the end of January, new records were being set in the city when it came to carjackings, the Chicago Tribune reported. Through January 10th, the latest city data, Chicago police recorded 61 carjackings. That is compared with a total of 22 in the same time period in 2020. Carjackings in 2020 rose from 135% to 1,415 in 2020 from 603 in 2019, the outlet reported. The gangs are using these vehicles because they feel they can't be traced. They can do their crimes, whether it be shootings or whatever it is, and then dump the car. So, you know, of course, that pretty much coincides with the increase of homicides in 2020 as well. There was a dramatic increase of homicides in 2020. There was also a dramatic increase in suicides in 2020 as well. That isn't all just coincidence, okay? That isn't just coincidence. Fox 32 Chicago reported that some in Illinois are blaming the video game series Grand Theft Auto, it's so stupid, for the recent spike, even though the franchise hasn't had a new entry since Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online were released in the fall of 2013. While the games have received downloadable content and updates since then, while maintained a massive regular fan base, the lack of a new headline generating frenzy contradicts the idea that the video game is responsible for Chicago's crime wave. Exactly. Like, do you guys not see just how silly our lawmakers are? Just how silly our government is? It's so ridiculous. It blows my mind that people continue to put all of their trust in the government in the way that they do. And they treat them like they are infallible, that they are unable to make any mistakes. They're human beings. They make a lot of mistakes, a lot of mistakes, which is why our founding fathers didn't want to give the government very much power, which is what we need to get back to. The government has way too much power right now, and it's insane. So anyway, still activists right there. I don't take them seriously when they say activists and philanthropist Early Walker suggested the game could be at least partly responsible and met with Illinois State Rep Marcus Evans to draft legislation that would amend a 2012 law preventing some games, including GTA, from being sold to children in Illinois. So literally they're trying to ban a video game because they think that is the increase of carjackings in 2020. It's so insane. It is absolutely insane. But anyway, this is just ridiculous, man, and there's nothing that they can use to prove that Grand Theft Auto randomly is the game that is responsible for the increase of carjackings. There's nothing that can prove that. It's just ridiculous, man. And yet, at the same time, I can bring up a lot of other facts and a lot of other statistics that could easily prove what could be taking place with the increase of carjackings. Not Grand Theft Auto. So our government is so silly that they aren't going to look at the actual issues of what could be causing the carjackings. Instead, they're just going to ban a video game. Wow. All right. Well, that is definitely something. With that being said, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Subscribe if you're new here to my channel. I'd appreciate that a lot. YouTube demonetized my entire channel. So if you guys are able to help me out financially at all by subscribing to my Patreon, sending me a tip through PayPal, literally keeps the lights on. It keeps me being able to make these videos and stuff, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much, everyone, and I will talk to you later. Bye.